Well, howdy there, folks. James, Political Friar, coming to you again. I got the University of Oregon hat on, and so we're going to have a political topic today. Specifically, that the House Democrats of the House Oversight Committee have released a report detailing the millions of dollars that Trump and Trump related businesses received from foreign governments during his presidency. According to the report, if you haven't heard about it, various foreign governments spent time mostly at Trump owned properties during his presidency, time that they didn't spend at those properties before his presidency. And so there was a change in behavior from countries like China and Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Kuwait, India, Malaysia, Afghanistan, and others. They once Trump became president, they started staying at his hotels. And it was a not so subtle way of trying to purchase political influence. Of course they did. If I was the Chinese foreign ministry and Trump became president, I wouldn't stay anywhere else but his hotels, even if they were charging exorbitant rates, because one thing Trump obviously cares about is his business. And if I can get any little edge with the guy by using his services, I'll do it. So who's shocked by this? Well, Democrats who are interested in being outraged by what is frankly banal and common influence peddling. This is very much in the same flavor as Hunter and James Biden getting business deals because of their last name. Foreign governments are always going to look for a way to influence important decision makers, and it's not always going to be a quid pro quo bribe. It's not going to be a banned campaign contribution. It's going to be some other way. But if they can get money from their hands into the politician that they're trying to influence his pocket, well, they'll do that. And the way that they did that was by staying at the Washington, D.C. hotel and staying at Trump Tower and staying at Trump International in Las Vegas when they could have stayed elsewhere. I am not at all distressed by this. Uh, I don't think that even for millions and millions of dollars, Trump would necessarily change his mind about any of these countries. And frankly, he's pretty okay with all these countries anyway. And so, whatever influence this might have had on Trump's decision making, I don't see the case for causation. At least not without some other smoking gun showing me that these expenditures influenced Trump. Now, there is a constitutional provision called the Emoluments Clause, which prevents presidents from accepting gifts from foreign nations without congressional approval. And it was put in there specifically to keep presidents from being bribed. The idea was a president may be overawed by some French monarch's wealthy gift and decide to side on the side of the French in some sort of international relations issue. And so Congress says, well, no gifts without our approval. And that is a principle that has held true. The gifts that presidents have got tend to live in their presidential libraries because they're not allowed to keep them, in keeping with the Emoluments Clause. But you also have to realize that the remedy for violating the Emoluments Clause is impeachment. And impeachment ain't relevant to Donald Trump. He's not president anymore. There is no criminal penalty, there's no sanction, there's no jail time, there's no fine. The only thing you can do to a president who ignores that part of the Constitution is impeach him. Well, arguably, Trump ignored that part of the Constitution. Arguably, he didn't. Arguably, it was his businesses that benefited, not him personally. That feels like putting a Chinese wall up when nothing actually exists there. But it is something that liberals are going to become distressed about and is not going to matter politically, particularly. The people who are bothered by Trump being a swamp monster are already bothered by Trump being a monster. The people who are Trump fans simply aren't going to care about this. So It's worth noting that politicians, are regularly influenced through their businesses. Just like the mayor of Baltimore somehow managed to sell tens of thousands of self-published children's books to companies that were in contract negotiations with the city of Baltimore. Huh. Funny that. Just how Herman Cain in 2011 used campaign money to buy a ton of his self-published book. Huh. Funny that. The RNC spent more than $200,000 on Dan Crenshaw's book in 2019. Weird. This happens. And the reality is, these people in Washington, D.C. use their names and their positions to make money. And most of the time, it's so common it's hard to call it a scandal. And most of the time, nobody cares. Anyway, it's just a thought. Let me know what I got wrong in the comments down below. Leave me a like, hit that subscribe button, and know that, I really appreciate you. Thanks.